Hello, welcome to the Rooms with Ronald podcast, brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington. In 2023, I set an intention to shop 100 apartment communities to see how leasing was evolving around the country. Rooms with Ronald was born out of that experience. In this series, I share my experiences and engage in meaningful conversations with other professionals in the industry as we discuss all things related to leasing and marketing. Join in as we expand the Rooms with Ronald experiment. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Rooms with Ronald, the micro living style. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington, and today we're going to cover a topic in 10 minutes or less because I know you're busy professionals. It's about to be leasing season. So let's dive in. Speaking of leasing season, I want to talk about setting expectations. And I want you to think about what expectations am I setting for my prospects. So a long time ago, when we rode dinosaurs to shop properties, that's how old I am. No, I'm just kidding. A long time ago, when I first entered this industry, I had to set the expectation, right? I had to talk to the prospect. I had to say, hey, don't forget to bring your checkbook in case you're shown an apartment that you're like. Or I would have to say something like, are you prepared to reserve an apartment home if you're shown one that you like today? We don't do that anymore, right? Because everything is done online. Everyone works off of a credit card or ACH. This was way back in 2014 when we had to do this. But it does not mean that we still can't set expectations for our prospects. One thing to really think about is, what is the experience like when they get to your property? I've shopped a lot of mid-rises and high-rises that when I get there, I'm confused. Parking is limited. I don't know where to park. A lot of time, these buildings are close together. There's some confusions on names. I mean, they all kind of look the same when you're shopping in the same area in these mid-rise and high-rises. Now, the other thing is that new garden-style apartment homes in some areas are also having limited parking. So you need to communicate that expectation to your prospect. There is nothing worse than getting to an apartment community thinking you're going to shop a property and you're driving around and you're like, okay, where's the office? Where do I park? Am I going to get towed if I parked here? Do I have to pay to park here? So making sure that you communicate that expectation so the prospect is well aware of ahead of time. And if you do it in email, that's okay. I won't ding you on it. But I think this is a great time to pick up the phone and call the prospect. Let them know. Get some information from them so you're not blindsided. The other expectations to think about setting is maybe you know that the prospect is looking for a 3-bedroom apartment home, but you don't have any 3 bedrooms available to show. So setting the expectation of, hey, I'm so excited that you're coming into my community. I am so excited to show you around, but I want to be transparent. Ooh, there's a keyword for you, right? The industry buzzword right now, transparency. I want to be transparent, and I want to let you know that I don't have a 3-bedroom to physically show you. But what I can show you is a video, or I can show you a floor plan. But I'm still going to show you amenities. I'm going to show you what the finishes look like when you go into our model or to a vacant unit, so you still can get that experience. Because what you don't want to do is to get that prospect to your property not knowing where they're coming from, right? They might be driving an hour, 2 or 3 hours sometimes to your property, thinking that they're going to see the floor plan that they're wanting to move into. And that could be for many reasons, right? Maybe your availability shows that you have that apartment home available to rent now, but maintenance hasn't gave you the keys yet. Or that you're over here thinking, hey, yeah, you're a brand new lease up. it says schedule your tour now, and you try to schedule it, but it's a hard hat tour, or it's a virtual tour when you get to their makeshift leasing office at that time. That immediately sets friction for the property. Setting the expectation of what type of tour it's going to be can alleviate negative reviews. It can alleviate frustrated prospects, and it can alleviate potential friction when that person comes, because ultimately, if they do decide to move in, that's their first impression of you. Set the expectation that if they were to call you, you're going to pick up the phone. I can't tell you how many times I've seen reviews that said, I've called and I called and I called, and no one answers the phone. Or I've heard, yeah, don't go to that property because they don't answer their phone. That's an expectation of your prospects. The other expectation is that if I book a self-guided tour, I'm expecting a self-guided tour. Or if I book an agent-led tour, I'm expecting an agent-led tour. Now, sometimes it's okay if you kind of interrupt the self-guided tour because maybe they didn't know they could book an agent-led tour, or something wasn't available for the book, but they showed up. But what is not okay is when they book an agent-led tour that you just tell them to go on a self-guided tour. That's not okay. Think about it like this. You mobile order your Starbucks drink. You're expecting it to be ready when you get there, or for them to be making it, right? But now when you get there, you walk in, your drink is not at the mobile station. So you flag down the worker and you say, hey, I mobile ordered a triple blonde vanilla latte, one of my go-tos. And that worker says, yeah, we got it, but you know what? We didn't feel like making it, or we're short-staffed, or whatever the excuse is. So you know what? You're just going to make it. It's going to be 5 pumps of vanilla. You're going to steam the milk. Vanilla goes in first. Go ahead and just cue the shots. You wanted 3 blonde. You're going to hit the blonde button, hit 3, and then you'll steam the milk, pour it, and then you're good to go. That's not what happens, right? The same thing should happen in our industry. If they book an agent-led tour, let them go on the agent-led tour. Don't just give them the keys because of the excuse that you're thinking. Expectations need to be stated and they need to be met. And the first way to do that is communication. So I hope you had learned a little something about making sure you are setting the expectations on parking, on the type of tour, on answering the phone. There are so many more ways that we could talk about setting expectations. But we only had 10 minutes or less today. So you have been listening to Rooms with Ronald, the Micro Living Addiction. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington. And until next time, guys, happy leasing. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope I left you with some fresh ideas or a new perspective. Leasing and marketing are evolving rapidly, and Rooms with Ronald is committed to offering a place to hear about those changes. We also celebrate and acknowledge the fundamentals of exceptional service that will never go out of style. So, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, or subscribe. Visit multifamilymedianetwork.com to learn more about our other exceptional industry podcasts, call pieces, and sponsorship opportunities.